Welcome to another episode of This is Culture. If you're a fan of the show and you enjoy what we're doing, please leave it down below in the comments. Also, don't forget to give us a share, a like, even hit that notification bell. And now in this week's show,
exercising is going to come in many forms: jogging, dancing, swimming.
It surpassed the taboo, in my opinion, of it just being for exotic dancing.
And I really think that, going through something like that is God's way of just telling me to chill out, basically, to heal, and to also remind me that my life does have a purpose.
welcome everyone to episode 5 of This is Culture. We're celebrating one full month in to our new series. Last week we spoke about your unique sales proposition. This week it's all about fitness. Now, as you guys know, fitness is a major part of my life. A long time ago when I first got into sports, I was very slim, always very athletic, but then when I got into my professional life, I put on a lot of weight. For those who remember me back then, I was almost 210 pounds and I was really out of shape for the age and the height that I was. But then I got control of my health and I started to lose a lot of weight. I got great tips and I started to learn all about fitness and well-being, and before you knew it, I dropped almost 50 pounds and I was in tremendous shape. But not only that, but I noticed that by becoming a better fit person, I also became a better business person. So today we're going to find a correlation in the two, and we have a lot of great guests today that are going to give us their opinions on how you can make your life a lot better. So the question I have for you guys today is, do you prefer to work out at home, at the gym, or a public setting like a park? And if you do, what are the best exercises that you guys can recommend? Leave it down below in the comments. Now that brings us into our first segment, Curb Appeal. So this week we're welcoming back Dr. Shelly Souza. She's going to give us all her tips and know-how on how to be fit and live an active lifestyle. Check it out for yourself.
Hi everybody, Dr. Shelly here to talk to you today about the benefits and necessity of exercise. We all know that it's important. Exercising is going to come in many forms: jogging, dancing, swimming, whatever you prefer, but it needs to be done. It's going to help promote better sleep, it's going to reduce anxiety, promote weight loss, help with memory, and the list goes on and on. But the problem is most of us make unrealistic goals when we decide to start exercising, like, I'm going to go to the gym 5 days a week. This is a difficult thing to go from 0 to 5, so I suggest going from 0 to shooting for 2 to 3 in a week. Another thing we do is think that we need an entire hour to exercise, when in fact you actually only need 20 to 30 minutes each time. So what you can do is find a few things that you can do at home, which I've done. My suggestions are: one, a YouTube channel called Yoga with Adrienne, which she has tons of videos that span 15 to 30 minutes that you can do right in your living room. She also has beginner videos, so be sure to start there if you've never done yoga before to make sure that you don't injure yourself in the process. The second thing I do is an app called Nike Training Club, which is free. This is a literal personal trainer in your pocket. They have 15 to 45-minute workouts all packaged together, and you can even play your music in the background. It'll prompt you to go from one exercise to the next, and it'll give you proper ways to actually do the form of exercise as well. I hope this was helpful for you to find a way to fit it into your day, leaving you happier and healthy. See you next time.
Wow, those are some great suggestions from Dr. Shelly Souza. But if you guys are looking for something a little bit less traditional and a little bit outside of the box, you're gonna have to see this week's Check This. Now, you may never have heard of pole dancing as being an exercise before, but at Pole to Pole Fitness, they've actually teamed it up with aerial aerobics to give you a workout that you probably never experienced ever in your life. Now, if you've never seen this before, this next segment is gonna knock you off your feet.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Rivera. I'm the CEO of Pole to Pole Fitness. Pole to Pole is a studio, an alternative fitness studio for people of all shapes and sizes. Our main classes are pole dancing, aerial silks, hoops, hammocks, booty camp classes, booty yoga, stretching classes, flexibility classes, contortion, handstands. We have a chair dancing class. We also have a belly dancing class. It's not like the gym. A lot of it is definitely unique and a niche for people who are looking for an alternative workout. The community is big, and here at Pole to Pole, the community is very unique. We have women of all shapes and sizes, men of all shapes and sizes, all careers, all backgrounds. The people you think that wouldn't be doing this type of fitness are doing it. It's surpassed the taboo, in my opinion, of it just being for exotic dancing. Find us on social media at Pole to Pole Fitness.
Oh my God. So much to say, but I'm not going to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Now, I do have a question for the audience. Would you guys like to see me give it a shot at pole dancing? If you would, leave it in the comments down below. Now I'm going to transition into something that's a little bit more basic. Our health, our day-to-day health. Recently, I was lucky enough to interview a musician by the name of Matt Cook, who told us about his journey in a run-in with diabetes. It almost took his life, so it was very emotional for him to tell us his story, but I want you guys to check it out and see for yourself. I'm super excited today to have in studio with us the incredibly talented Matt Cook. A few weeks ago, I had the pleasure of listening to Matt's story at a TEDx event, and it really resonated with me because he went through a lot of struggles in order to get to where he is today. Matt is an accomplished musician, and he has just as an incredible story to match. So, Matt, for those of you who don't know who you are, could you just tell us a little background about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm based down the Jersey Shore, or Asbury Park part of the Jersey Shore. Grew up in Middletown. I've been playing piano since I was 5. I've been writing songs since I was a teenager. Went to college and spent some time out on the West Coast and in Los Angeles. Lived there for 5 years. Moved back, and I've been based out of the shore ever since.
So, right, you started playing piano at the age of 5. Was that your family's influence? Was that something that you were kind of just maybe gravitated to?
Yeah, I always had a desire to from like infancy. I can just I just gravitated to it. My siblings, we all took piano lessons growing up, but I was the only one that stuck with it through high school. And fortunately, my mom, my mom's like my hero. She's always been there for me, and she thankfully afforded me piano lessons through all that time. So that's how I got my formal music training. I actually taught myself guitar when I was 12, 13 years old, and it made it easier having that background of learning music theory and knowing what I was doing on the piano, and just learning another instrument made sense. And as far as singing goes, I've always been a singer, going back to the same, like when I was 5. I sang in chorus in elementary school, middle school. I was a worship leader for a really long time.
Oh, look at that.
Sang in the choir I went to school at Loyola Marymount University in LA. Nice. I was in the choir there.
Nice. Well, in order to accomplish such a high level of competency with music, I'm sure you had to make a lot of sacrifices growing up as a kid, right? I'm sure your friends were probably out playing a lot or maybe getting in trouble, and you're like, nah, I gotta go practice, or I gotta go sing, I gotta go to classes. Like, how hard was it you growing up as a kid to be that disciplined?
Yeah, I've always been a very shy, introverted kind of, certainly, it was even worse as a kid. I just, but it's weird being in the music industry because you have to, I've always felt more of an introvert in an extroverted industry. But I didn't have a whole desire to go to football games and dances and stuff. I was going straight home after school, and I was spending hours literally every day on the piano.
You know, it's funny you say that because I've heard that a lot of the artists that we see today or throughout history have all been introverts, and and that's how they got to such a high level in their industry. But they've had to learn how to become more comfortable in their own skin. I myself, you know, this was a big leap for me to be in front of a camera and learn this part of the media business, because growing up, I was the same thing, shy kid, you know, I was teased, bullied, and as you grow up, you know, you're kind of told, well, now you got to step out of the box and be uncomfortable, and like, okay, well, how do I do that? There's no school that teaches you how to do that, so you kind of have to bite the bullet and cut your teeth, right? So how was your first show, or how was your first performance like if you were such an introvert?
Yeah, no, I did have a fear of being in front of people performing, so I kind of, you mentioned like being bullied and things like that. Like I had a really rough time through my middle school years. By the time I got to high school, that's when I really started to focus on, okay, I really want to be a songwriter, and spending more time at the piano trying to compose things, and you know, getting like made fun of constantly for like 3 years. I was kind of, you know, insecure, I guess, about my singing voice and things like that. So I really worked on it for about like 2 years. Actually, before my first record, Coast to Coast, I call them like my two like bedroom session recordings, which were, I did like 2 like albums, which I call them, but they were full, you know, it was I had a 4-track cassette recorder, and I just kind of messed around with, you know, doing vocal harmonies and recording piano and acoustic guitar together, and that gave me confidence. Is like, okay, I can write songs, and that made me feel comfortable to start performing in front of people. I remember my first performance, I was 16 years old. We used to do these acoustic nights at my high school in Middletown. It was a really quiet audience, and it got a really positive reaction. And you know, the feedback you get when you're a kid, because I work with kids a lot now too, and I teach lessons, and I'm around kids all the time. That encouragement you get at a young age when you are insecure and you're trying to figure everything out of, you know, who you are as not only a musician but just as a person at that point. It goes a long way, and I fortunately got a lot of that, you know, encouragement from my family and from my friends.
What I loved about what you just said just now is the fact that you didn't wait until you had a studio to go and record. You didn't wait for the perfect time. You just did with what you had, and instead of procrastinating, which a lot of people do, they overanalyze things and they never put any action into place. You did what you had to do in your bedroom, or you did it self-produced. You did everything you had to do, which led to you getting a professional atmosphere, professional album going, and you were already better prepared for that when the time came.
Right, yeah, I mean, I hear a lot of stories because I meet so many young singer-songwriters that are, you know, working on their first songs, their first recordings, and it could be a really overwhelming experience. I really don't recall it being that at all, probably because having learned a little bit about, you know, multi-track recording on my own, I was always very planned. I had all of our sessions mapped out as to what we wanted to work on, even at, you know, a young age.
That's awesome. Well, being a musician, I'm sure it's kind of difficult to make make music your only thing that pays the bills. Has there been times when you were kind of like, man, I gotta maybe take a regular job, or I gotta stop following my passion because I need something that's gonna pay the bills?
Yeah, it is a feast or famine industry, and it's odd because I feel like there's two types of musicians that I tend to come across. There are ones that are very industry focused, as to listening to feedback from so many people that, you know, whether they should or shouldn't, but, you know, almost being told you need to be doing this. Fame has never really been important to me, like, for what it's worth. It's not my main goal. My main goal is to help people through my music. I had a lot of dark days in California. My dad was like not a good person at all. We went through a lot of, you know, he cheated on my mom, put our whole family in financial ruin, and my sister and I had a really hard time even graduating school, so it's a miracle that we did. Decided to come back here to kind of start the healing process. You know, it just felt like my life was still in a tailspin that I could not get out of, but if it wasn't for my faith, I wouldn't have had the strength to keep going forward. By the time I was 25 was when I ended up in my near fatal diabetic coma. From undiagnosed type 1 diabetes, I went into cardiac arrest as soon as I got to the hospital, and I have no memory of any of this stuff. So it's the worst week of my life in many ways turned out to be one of the best things for me. Just being given a second chance of, I remember being so depressed before that time of almost, I've never been the kind of person even struggling with depression that would, the thought of like taking my own life, but I remember the apathy of just, I don't know how much more I can take. And I really think that, going through something like that, it was God's way of just telling me to chill out, basically, to heal, and to also remind me that my life does have a purpose, and I wasn't finished yet. So, music became an even more prominent thing in my life, because it wasn't until I went through that and I got healthy that I started following the passion of, I got more students, I was teaching music lessons more, and then it led me to actually working in the very hospital that I almost lost my life in. I work in the pediatric hospital there doing the music program, and I get to go around and use my music talents and sing for all these sick patients that went or going through similar things like I had gone through as a young adult.
Sometimes our biggest problems become how would I say, almost like a blessing in disguise, and you can learn so much from it and just become a better version of yourself from going through those instances. So that's great stuff. I mean, I love to know, where do you think your career is heading? What do you want to do more of?
I really see my future in the hospital, because I love that setting. It's not something that I didn't know much about music therapy, or I really knew nothing at all about music therapy, even going back to when I was in college, and never really pictured myself doing music in that kind of a setting. So our jobs are there to provide comfort and resources to the patients and the families. To the child life specialists go around, they prepare for different procedures and things like that. That's why I feel like I have the best job in the world, because I get to, I'm supposed to make people happy for the day, give them this positive distraction, To me, that's worth more than, any amount of gold records or anything like that, So my two goals, I guess, as far as music goes, I want to continue to create. That's why I still go to the studio every week. At some point, I would like to become a certified music therapist, so that I could be doing music therapy full time.
That's amazing. That's awesome, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the great knowledge you're giving us today, because this is great stuff. But I'm sure our audience, they're dying to hear something. They want to hear, and I know your songs are like your children. You can't pick a favorite.
Oh yeah, no, it's true.
Do you have one that kind of like sticks out to you that you'd want to share with us today?
Yeah, I mean, well, thinking about it on the ride up here, actually, I was thinking what I wanted to play. And I just think, probably because it's like one of my more current songs too, and the song Last I was talking about that came out earlier this year. So it's a very positive, very uplifting, hopeful, optimistic love song, and that's I think that's what I would like to share with you guys today.
I love that. Let's go ahead and hear it.
All right.
Awesome.
Don't know how we got here, even though I drove myself crazy through your walls, try to catch you when you fall, when you love someone too much, too fast. She better run to my bed-filled heart. Oh, I wanna make it last. like an apple in my eye, flying through my head. It's understood, it's all unsaid. 'Cause when you love someone too much, too fast, she better run to my pain-filled heart. Oh, I wanna make it last. And if you hesitate, I will wait. I think I fail. Oh, can you tell? Buried underneath something broken, something sweet. Stare into my soul, see yourself inside my world. When you love someone too much, too fast, she's the one, and I'm holding on. Oh, you're gonna be my last. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Ooh, whoa, whoa, yeah. Ooh, whoa, whoa, yeah.
Wow, brother. Good job. You almost transition into a different universe when you're singing and you're playing.
I like to close my eyes a lot when I sing. I've been doing that since I was a kid, basically, because I kind of
Does
let the lyrics lead me, you know.
that kind of takes you out of reality, right?
It does, yeah. It's I guess as close to an outer body experience as you can have.
That's amazing, brother. You're very talented, man. And listen, man, that was an amazing song. I don't know if you were saying that it's not kind of your thing. Man, you crushed it.
Thank you very much.
You put John Mayer to shame. That was a good one, man.
You know, every time I hear the John Mayer thing brought up, I think that's great because I love John Mayer. He's a big influence, and so my engineer Pete, when I showed him this song, he said he likes to ask me. He's like, well, what kind of a song do you want to create? And I had John Mayer Paper Doll on like repeat and I want to make my own paper doll kind of a song. Yeah. With that, you know,
I picked up on that.
That telly kind of line that's in there and everything. And my friends Gwen Alden, Tom Bryant, very talented musicians. We perform together a lot. We call ourselves ABC, Alden Bryant Cook. Very unique, right?
I like that. I like
that. They sang the harmonies on the recording with me, and we just have a really beautiful vocal blend together.
Well, listen, what you did right now acoustically is amazing.
Thank you very much.
You could have recorded just that, and I think it would have been an amazing track.
Thank you.
That was really good.
That's always the test, right? If a song holds up, I think when you can bring it down to one instrument and vocal, if the melody sticks, then passes the test.
Yeah, I definitely loved it, brother.
Thank you very much.
So I'm sure now our audience wants to know more about your music and where they can find it and how they can follow you. Can you tell us more about where and what to look for?
Yeah, so my main website is MatthewCookMusic.com.
Okay.
It's got links to all my social media and links to all my music everywhere. All my stuff is on Spotify, Apple Music, all the streaming sites. I do have physical copies on my Bandcamp site, which is also linked on there. I'm very active on my Instagram account. That's at MattCookMusic. My Facebook is /MattCookMusic, and I have a YouTube channel too, which is Matt Cook Video.
Thank you so much. I know the future is holding huge things for you, not only for you in your career, but also with your journey, your destiny, what you're meant to do. And we're yet to see that, but I'm sure it'll happen. Thank you so much for being here with us today. I'm sure our audience is loving the music and loving your vibe. And
Thank you very much.
You know, you're a breath of fresh air. You bring that West Coast vibe over to the East Coast, which we need a little bit sometimes. We need that positivity. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And your story is amazing, and it really resonates with us here.
Thanks so much. I really appreciate that.
No, thank you. And thank everyone for watching. I appreciate you guys sticking through it. Thank you for your music. And guys, have a great day. Enjoy. Wow, another amazing show. If you guys enjoyed it, please don't forget to give us a comment, a like, a share, even hit that notification bell. Thanks again for watching. See you later.